You are listening to the Adventures of Basil Bremerton. Tonight you will be able to follow along with the eccentric genius as he unravels another puzzle from across the pond. Before he reveals the solution, we will stop the play and let you have a chance to solve the mystery. And now, our host for the next hour, the incomparable Basil Bremerton.
Thank you, and good evening, distinguished guests. Tonight, amidst a blanket of snowfall, my assistant, Benjamin Anders, and I face the not-so-sweet finish of a prima ballerina tormented by unseen spirits during rehearsals for Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker. We shall call this adventure Visions of Sugarplums.
Oh gosh, it's magical. Look at that extension, she's so magnificent.
What?
Astrid, look, Benji, isn't she magnificent? She's as light as a snowflake.
Yes. Is she the frilly one?
She's the Sugar Plum Fairy. She's dancing now. She's so perfect. Madame de Mornay was so wise in her casting. Look at the grace, how crisp her movement. She floats. She seems insubstantial. Feather, butterfly, a dust mote twirling in a shaft of light. I wish I could dance like that.
Didn't you?
Shh. Yes, well, I did. But I was just in the Corps de Ballet, in the Waltz of the Flowers. It would take years of work to get to Astrid's level. I didn't have the resources. Shh.
Well, I'm sure you are quite lovely, Nina.
Lovely doesn't land you signature rules, Benji. Madame de Mornay is exacting, precision above all else.
Sorry, ma'am.
Oh my god. Astrid!
What happened? Is this part of the show?
I don't know, she's never collapsed like this before. Astrid!
Oh, there. It's perfectly natural to feel as you do. Mop up those tears. Here, take my handkerchief, won't you?
You, Mr. Bremerton. Oh, my. I've never seen a lavender handkerchief before.
I have my quirks, Miss Shetland.
You must think I'm silly for sobbing like this.
Not at all. We don't. Do we, Basil?
Oh, not in the slightest. You cry as much as you need to. Miss Vane must have been a good friend.
Cousin, actually.
Cousin?
Hush, Anders.
She was like a second cousin, I think. We had a mutual grandfather, but then the family tree got rather bushy. Grandfather Lionel had wives in triplicate. 2 wives were cousins themselves. The third was a friend of theirs. How that worked out, I don't know. Honestly, it's just simpler to call Astrid my cousin.
Naturally, you were close to her.
Rather. Well, I mean, we were the same age. We grew up together. Well, not quite, actually. We just spent Christmases together.
At Grandfather Lionel's house.
How did you know?
Lucky guess.
Come now, Basil. You must know that...
Even detectives can make a lucky guess now and then, Anders. Let's not interrupt Miss Shetland.
Well, I didn't spend much time with Astrid after we grew up and went out on our own. I hadn't seen her since she left for Paris to train. She only returned to England a few months ago to be our prima ballerina for the Nutcracker. Imagine my surprise to see her after all these years.
Yes, imagine.
I hadn't seen her since that last Christmas when Grandfather died. Oh, Astrid! Why, Astrid, why?
Oh, now. Keep strong, if you can. Hold it together. You may be able to help us. I'm afraid I must ask some painful questions.
Really, Basil? I should hardly think we should subject Miss Shetland to any barbarous treatment.
Ha! I leave the barbarism for Scotland Yard.
Still, I don't like it.
It's all right, Benji. I can handle it. What did you want to know, Mr. Bremerton?
Let's not mince words then. Tell me what happened on the night Astrid died.
Well, it was fairly normal at first. Before I met Benji outside the theatre, I went through the stage door to Astrid's dressing room backstage.
Ah, you went backstage. Was Astrid much the same as usual?
Never got a chance to see her before the show. She was warming up with Sergei at the time. He's her cavalier on stage.
What did you do?
Mostly, I hung around in her dressing room for a few minutes, seeing if she would stop by after her warm-up. When it got too close to curtain, I left to meet Benji. I didn't want to miss the overture.
Anders?
Waited out front of the theatre. It was bitterly cold. I thought I had icicles growing on my nose. Nina showed up not long before the ushers had to close the doors.
Do you remember where she came from?
No. I'm sorry. I kept thinking about frostbite.
And you, Miss Shetland? What were you thinking about while waiting for Astrid?
Oh, come now, Basil. Surely, that can't be relevant information.
Dinner, mainly.
Dinner? But we had that nice dinner at Girardi's before the ballet. Then you said you wanted a change before the show, and agreed to meet me at the theatre. Your flat was only a block away.
More pieces to the puzzle. Thank you, Anders.
Oh, not our dinner. Christmas dinner. Don't ask me why, I just found myself daydreaming about mince pies and Christmas pudding. I wonder if Tchaikovsky has been an Englishman, would he have included pudding in the land of sweets?
Would she have been a fire dancer?
Really, Mr. Bremerton, I don't find that funny.
Sometimes all I can do is amuse myself.
Basil, please.
All right, enough of my little amusements. So you arrived at your seats, and the performance was just as usual?
Really, it was my first time going to a ballet. How would I know?
I meant Miss Shetland here. She's a member of the Chamberlain Ballet Company, is that right? You were rehearsing with them for the Nutcracker, were you not? Until your injury.
I was. I didn't notice anything out of the place in staging or choreography, if that's what you're asking.
And the atmosphere was much the same backstage?
I should say so. Nothing outstanding. Same old tensions as always.
Tension?
I mean, the same tension as always before a performance. Getting the lighting right, stage hands grumbling, dancers stretching and stifling nerves, Madame de Monet hissing at everything. Nothing unusual.
I see. For all intents and purposes, it was a normal opening night, until Astrid died on stage.
She didn't die on stage, she collapsed on stage. She died en route to the hospital.
Fair point. Then let's cut the fat and leave the meat. What happened at that final moment?
Well, she sort of twirled a bit. Some kind of fancy steps. Jumped, I think. Spun some more, maybe?
Oh, Benji. You are so hopeless. I don't want to get into the technicalities of her choreography, Mr. Bremerton. I don't think it would matter to you, but Astrid was performing her variation de la Fée dragée. It was... Oh, Mr. Bremerton, how can I describe its perfection?
It was... nice.
The orchestra reached its peak in the music, and suddenly, Astrid just dropped.
Yes, that's just what I was thinking. She dropped. It wasn't a swoon, per se, a collapsing. Like the life left her all at once.
It was horrible, Mr. Bremerton.
A collapse, you say? Could it have been some underlying health issue?
Not in the slightest. Astrid was as healthy as they come. Dance is physical. Ballet is strenuous. It takes strength and stamina. Astrid kept fit. If she was in any way delicate, she wouldn't be a ballerina.
It was odd, Basil. Like the poor girl had been struck down.
Struck down.
You thought of something?
Impressions. Merely impressions. Tell me, Miss Shepard, did Astrid mention any incidents at rehearsals? Any strange circumstances?
Basil? What on earth are you...
No, Mr. Bremerton, Astrid never told me anything. We didn't rehearse much together, different schedules. I don't believe there was anything wrong with her or with the ballet or anything. I'm afraid it's late. Good evening, Mr. Bremerton. Benji.
Allow me to escort you home?
No, I'm fine. I'll walk. It's not far from here.
Nina!
Good evening.
Basil! How many times must I tell you to stop antagonizing people? She's a good, decent girl. She doesn't deserve all that badgering. And...
At ease, Anders. For you see, I have a little more information about this situation than you give me credit for. Astrid Thane visited me this afternoon.
What?
Indeed she did, with a curious little nugget of a problem.
Mr. Bremerton, I need your help. I think I'm losing my mind. Are detectives supposed to wear candy-striped waistcoats?
Thought I'd embrace festivity this time of year. Makes me far less easy to lose than someone's mind. Now, Miss Thane, why do you think you're losing your mind?
I'm not sure. You are really a detective, aren't you?
In layman terms, yes. I like to think of myself as invested in solving problems.
Well, I don't have proof. That's what I'm missing, proof. If I can't find that, it's happening, then I must be going mad.
Excuse me, Miss Thane, proof of what exactly?
Incidents, someone, something. I'm being hounded, Mr. Bremerton, at the theatre. I wanted to go away.
I'm afraid I need more specifics, Miss Thane.
I dance for the Chamberlain Ballet. We are staging the Nutcracker for the first time in England tonight. I dance the Sugar Plum Fairy.
I believe I came across something like that when I was in St. Petersburg for a case. Tchaikovsky, isn't it?
Yes, I was training at the Conservatoire in Paris when Madame de Mornay approached me to be her prima ballerina for the Chamberlain. I had been looking for a company in England, so I could return home. I had been training in Paris since I was 18. That's 5 years ago now. It seemed an opportunity that was too good to miss.
And yet, something is sullying that dream, is it not?
In my dressing room, someone is tormenting me.
How so?
Little things. First it was just the notes, anonymous things, nasty things. Then I arrived at my dressing room to find dead mice on the floor.
Mice?
Yes, nasty, furry things with their little claws up in the air. I thought I'd never sleep again. I ran out to the room, screaming. One of the stagehands found me, Douglas, I think. Or maybe Scott. It took ages to calm down. I swear I could hear little ghost squeaks in the walls, following me, hounding me. But when the stagehand looked in my dressing room, the mice weren't there.
Vanishing mice?
I don't appreciate your tone.
Just making sure I understand you. Please, continue.
I couldn't explain it. They were there, Mr. Bremerton, I swear it. How could I make up something like that? I don't care what they say. That would be madness.
They?
It doesn't matter. What matters is the dead mice had disappeared. I had the janitor scrub the dressing room afterwards, but I just couldn't erase the image of them lying there. I swapped dressing rooms with Sergei. He's my partner in the ballet.
You swapped dressing rooms? Then did the torment cease, Miss Thane?
I wish it did. It got more savage. Someone took a publicity photo and cut it into strips. They sent me the pieces, one by one. Then I found my costume slashed on the rack, viciously, like someone took a blunt knife to it. But when I grabbed Madame de Mornay to show her, it was intact, sitting on the rack as though nothing happened to it. I didn't like the way people looked at me after that.
How did they look at you?
Like they were waiting for the next big meltdown, waiting for me to crack, like I was entertainment for them. Seeing those greasy sneers of the stagehands, hearing those whispers behind my back. They made me want to claw my eyes out.
Oh my.
And worse, I started to believe them. What if I am losing my mind? I opened the box where I hid the sliced up photograph, and it was whole again, not a scratch. I can't explain it.
And that's what you want me to do? To explain the unexplainable?
It's more serious than that, Mr. Bremerton. I can't shake the feeling that it might be true, all of it. The dead mice, the photograph, the slashed costume. And if it is true, then I'm in danger.
Danger?
You don't agree?
I can agree that the psychology is unsettling. But I am curious why they would target you, Miss Thane.
What do you mean?
Let's say a young woman is receiving unusual harassment, creative harassment, but it always disappears before she can summon witnesses. Why? Why should no one know about it? The young woman does not know who is behind it. Surely a fear of exposure cannot be the reason. Why then engineer such elaborate machinations against this woman? To drive her mad? To expel her from the ballet? To send a message? All things need a reason.
I can't provide that, Mr. Bremerton.
Are you certain of that, Miss Thane? Because why would you open this discussion by mentioning nasty letters and then not reveal what these letters said?
I didn't think that was relevant.
All things are relevant in these matters, Miss Thane.
It's a private matter.
Detectives live for private matters. How am I supposed to find the culprit and stop this harassment without information? If I find out why you are specifically targeted, I can trace that back to a person who most likely has a reason to harm you.
You could simply camp out in my dressing room and catch anyone who tries anything funny.
I am almost certain our perpetrator would cease his ghostly machinations the moment he sensed someone was in the room. He, or she, is a clever individual. Remember the slashed costume magically repaired? That comes from design.
I don't see how raking up all the dirt about me will help.
In some cases, digging through dirt can lead to treasure, like Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun, or Sir Becker's adventures in South America. Some risk earns reward.
And Lord Carnarvon ended up dying with the Pharaoh's curse. If you'll excuse me, Mr. Bremerton.
Have I failed some sort of test?
If you won't take me seriously.
Au contraire! I take you very seriously indeed. Enough to know you're hiding something. It's you who don't take me seriously.
How can I when you dress like a clown?
Ha ha! A cheap shot. It's been so long since I've heard one of those.
If you're not willing to help me...
If you're not willing to be honest with me, I'm not sure how far my help can go. Where is your proof? Where is your evidence of malfeasance? The law requires so much more than I do, Miss Thane.
Since you are no help to me whatsoever, I may have to take things into my own hands.
That may not be prudent.
I have no choice. Good day.
So you see, I had very little to go on. Astrid Thane was hiding something. Of that I am certain. But what? She knew why she was targeted, but she wouldn't say why.
And you never heard from her again?
Not quite. I received a note from the theatre. Mr. Bremerton, I apologize for my earlier outburst. I believe I have the proof you need. The mice return. I will see you after the performance. A.T. It goes without saying I never saw her after the ballet.
Do you believe that's why she's dead?
I cannot say for sure, but when a young woman comes to me for help, and that very night is struck down for the last time, it gives me pause. I had failed her. It is now my job to seek the justice she sought.
How?
First, I think we're overdue for a visit to Scotland Yard.
Hi, Basil. I didn't know you were undercover as a Christmas tree.
Hello, Inspector Harlow. Keeping busy?
As the holidays approach, madness sets in. 2 murders in the last week alone.
Not to mention the strange death of Astrid Thane, the prima ballerina.
Ah, so that's your line. You think there is something fishy about her dying like that?
Don't you?
I admit, it has me stumped. Girl was in fucking shape. Could run marathons if she had ever mind to. That makes the medical report even stranger.
Well, it looked like her heart just stopped. Is there anything stranger than that?
Well, it's strange on me. Here, take a gander at these reports.
Death by electrolyte imbalance. Fascinating.
What does that mean?
I think it's some kind of, fancy dehydration.
A little more complex than that, Harlow. It sounds like her body was unable to purge its salts.
Eh?
She stopped sweating. Quite dangerous, particularly for something as vigorous as a ballet performance, or any other physical activity. I seem to recall something about an Olympic Games in...
Hold on, Basil. Are you saying that not being able to sweat is what killed the poor girl?
Essentially, yes. There's a bit more nuance in the doctor's report. Hello? What's this? Smell of beef and lilacs on the body. Is this serious, Harlow?
Dr. Cotter Asher. Doubt Shep. Wouldn't want him fouling up my festive season. Looks like Father Christmas spat in his mince pies every year. Anyway, he's certain, and in no way would he ever make a joke. Said she was covered in head to toe makeup, painting like a trollop, he said.
And if Cartwright says head to toe, he means from the head all the way to the toes. Peculiar.
What could it mean?
Well, she was a dancer on stage. Under those lights, some makeup would be needed. But no. Head to toe. Interesting.
I mean, I can't make heads nor tails of the blasted thing myself. Under normal circumstances, she shouldn't have died. And yet here we are. So what's the deal, Basil? You seem to have some kind of lead on this thing.
I wish that were true. Tell me, Harlow, did Miss Thane ever contact the Metropolitan Police about any of the torment she received at the theatre?
What do you mean, torment?
That's a no, then. Very well. Miss Thane had been subjected to, dare I say, inventive harassment at the hands of an unknown person. Yet, the evidence disappeared before she could summon a witness. This was the last message she sent me.
The mice are back. You're telling me she got spooked by a mouse problem?
It's a little more complicated than that. And let's not forget she's dead now, smelling of beef and violets. Curious.
What if it was just mice, Basil? Mice chewing up her costume and photograph? Maybe getting sick and dying in her dressing room?
And leaving her notes. Come now, Anders. Think rationally.
Doesn't seem to be anything rational in it. You're suggesting this Astrid girl was murdered, aren't you?
I'm suggesting that it has become a neat little problem. We have a young woman receiving threats that vanish into the ether. She is struck down almost mystically shortly after she seeks help. Coincidence? My friend, I am not known to trust coincidences.
What are you hoping to find, Basil?
For starters, someone who isn't busy. I'd like a peek into Astrid's dressing room. Pardon me, miss. If you can pardon my interrupting your warm-up. Would you direct me to a Madame Angèle de Mornay, please? She's expecting me.
Who wants to know?
My name is Basil Bremerton, detective. This is my confidential assistant, Benjamin Anders.
Pleasure. Saw the ballet last night. You were nice. Some Spanish dancer.
Hot chocolate. You always do your Sherlocking dressed as a pearly king?
I like to be impossible to ignore.
What do you want?
I believe I made it clear. I wish to see Madame de Mornay.
Are you here about Astrid?
Are you interested in that matter? We can both play this game.
Why should that matter?
Let's start with some basics. Who are you?
What's it to you?
Have you danced here long?
Why would that matter?
who took over the role of the Sugar Plum Fairy?
Why do you need to know?
I'm confused.
I'm sure that is a familiar phrase. So, did someone snuff Astrid?
What's it to you?
I can see things will be more challenging. If you can excuse my facetious remark, you are a tough nut to crack.
Why should I excuse it?
Susan, there you are. It was like swimming through the channel to get through all the stagehands. They just clumped together in big packs. Would you call it a school of stagehands? A flock? Well, there must be something. Well, finally I got through, and I have a message for you from Madame.
Shut up, Delia.
Good Lord, Basil. She has practically nothing on.
Hush! Mind your manners, Anders. It's the Arabian costume for the ballet. You had to have seen it.
Nina warned me. I closed my eyes during that part.
Madame wanted you to do another fitting with Hermione before the performance. Hermione is so peeved at how torn up your Sugar Plum costume was, and so badly repaired too. Well, she spied the laundress, saying every costume needs to be treated like a treasure. Of course, the laundress says she didn't do anything, but you would say that, wouldn't you? I mean, my landlady swore up and down that her children never played in my wardrobe, and what do I find? Those little hellions were squirreled away between my mother's mink and the sweater James bought for me. They were petting the mink like it was a dog they wanted for Christmas. I mean, really, who does that? I do miss having a dog, though. When I was little, we had a Jack Russell Terrier named Robert Longfellow. Brother's idea. He used to scamper about the garden and nip at my sister's heels. Well, she didn't like Robert Longfellow all that much. I wonder if my landlady would. Or Hermione. Oh, that reminds me. Hermione wants you to try on your Sugar Plum Fairy costume again. Since you took over for poor Astrid, they want to make sure it's perfect.
You're just a veritable fountain of information, aren't you, Delia?
I'm afraid I must intrude on this fascinating conversation for a moment. Good evening, miss. I'm Basil Bremerton, and I...
Oh, I've heard of you. You're the famous detective, right? The one with the funny clothes. Oh my, you're almost disappointingly normal in the flesh. Do the clothes make it hard for you to sneak around in the shadows after thieves and murderers? I am rather a fan of true crime. I follow all your cases. Do you feel the newspapers get the details right? Do you have any feelings about the Jack the Ripper case last century? It seems like all the major crime stoppers and writers try to put their spin on it. Did you know Arthur Conan Doyle put his own spin on the crime? He thought a midwife committed the crime. Can you believe it? A midwife! Of course, he also believed in ghosts, so it's a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to Conan Doyle. Do you believe in ghosts, Mr. Bremerton? I'm undecided. But I suppose if 3 could visit Ebenezer Scrooge and teach him the meaning of Christmas...
Take a breath, Delia, or you'll pass out.
Oh, I'm such a scatterbrain. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Delia Monchessa. I dance Arabian coffee for the Nutcracker. This is Susan de la Fontaine.
Delia.
She was, Spanish hot chocolate. She's now the Sugar Plum Fairy after Astrid died. Poor Astrid. I mean, it was so scary just watching her collapse like that. Never saw it coming. She'd been having so much trouble at rehearsals too. People thought she was going crazy. Though the pressure to be the first Sugar Plum Fairy in all of England is quite intense. Madame was rigorous, a perfectionist. It would be hard on anyone. But do you think that's what happened? The stress caused her heart to give out. How awful. We tried so hard to help her through all those nightmares she kept having. Well, Susan would take her hand and tell her it was okay if she was feeling overwhelmed, and that if she had to step out of the show, we would all be there for her.
Delia, I swear I will break your jaw so they have to wire it shut.
Oh, she says stuff like this all the time, but she never means anything by it. Susan really is very caring. Like when she helped Astrid pack her things after Astrid panicked about someone being in the dressing room.
Pack her things?
Don't say another word, Delia.
Oh, but it was so sweet of you, Susan. Astrid was in an absolute state. She said someone cut up her costume. Of course, there was nothing wrong with it. Astrid thought someone was after her. She yelled so much that day. Said she was going to leave London immediately and return to Paris. Well, Susan was helping her pack when Madame de Mornay put an end to that idea. She got Astrid to stay. I wonder how she did that.
Since you're so good at guessing, Delia, why don't you give it a whack before I whack you?
I really couldn't say. You were much closer to Astrid and Madame than I was. Always eager to help them with any little thing.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Delia. You were so kind to Astrid. Like when you took that dead mouse out of her dressing room.
Did you say dead mouse?
It was no bother, really. Astrid had such a horror of them. She imagined them everywhere. She'd close her eyes during the battle scene if she ever walked with wings. I thought I would help her out. And this such cute little things.
Mice?
Yes, of course. Even when they're stiff with rigor, they look so adorable. So fuzzy and soft. That poor little fellow probably got into the routine the caretaker has. There's a bit of a mouse problem here at the theatre. Would you like to see him?
You kept the mouse?
Oh, he doesn't smell or anything. He's like a stuffed animal. I have a friend who can take care of that. I'm studying to be a pathologist, you know. Dance isn't an eternal career.
She loves the gross and creepy.
Oh, Susan, you are too much sometimes.
Basil, I feel unwell.
What's going on here, you daft lot? You're supposed to be warming up for the performance. Susan, get into costume this instant. We have a full house, and I will not tolerate any faffing about. Who are you? What do you want? Are you wearing one of our sweets costumes? Did you take it? Hermione, did you loan out one of the Merlitons?
I'm afraid you must be mistaken. I am Basil Bremerton. I would recognize that voice anywhere. You must be Angèle de Mornay. We spoke briefly on the telephone.
Jane Smith. I save all the frog nonsense for the placards and publicity. Madame to the dancers. What do you want? I have a performance to stage in a few hours.
I'll keep it brief then. I am here investigating the death of Astrid Thane.
Damn shame. Good girl. I had my eye on her for Odette and Swan Lake. Just needed to loosen her up a bit to play Odile, but she had the stamina for all the fouettes. Anyway, what was it? Heart attack?
More complex than that. Electrolyte imbalance.
Sounds like something funny an athlete gets when he sweats too much. Or too little. I can't be certain. Though it sounds like something I read in the newspaper ages ago. Guess Astrid didn't have the stamina after all.
That may be. Or it may be more difficult.
What? Murder? Don't be daft. How could anyone do that?
That is what I endeavor to discover.
Can't see how. Whole thing's a daft business anyway. So, what do you want to know?
Most stories start with chapter 1. Where did you meet Astrid?
Paris. She danced with this exclusive conservatory. Expensive. Landed a big legacy from her millionaire grandfather. Born under a lucky star, I guess.
Right until she died prematurely on stage from unusual circumstances.
Point taken. Anyway, I make it a point to tour the major ballet capitals of Europe every few years to scout for new talent. Sergei came from Moscow, Nikolai from St. Petersburg, and so on. Astrid showed promise, grace, precision, power without strain. Turned out she wanted to return to England. She had left at 18 to pursue her ballet career and hadn't returned since. I offered her Sugar Plum, and she snapped it up. Of course she would. All the dancers except when they learned Sir Reginald Becker was backing the Nutcracker.
Becker is the backer, eh? Never pegged him for a patron of the ballet. There aren't many tutus in the Andes.
Oh, Reggie has such a deep appreciation for the arts. I met him ages ago, when I was a young ballerina in St. Petersburg. He saw my Giselle. Naturally, once I started the Chamberlain Ballet, I reconnected with Reggie. He was delighted to help fund the ballets. Made the dancers happy. Meant we could have decent costumes, decent sets, decent pay. But Reggie isn't just the personal bank for us. He performs in the Nutcracker as Herr Drosselmeyer. No actual ballet techniques. A mime role. But it tickles him.
A curious little window into the backstage life of a ballet.
Yes. Well, our audience will not be able to enjoy Reggie's performance. He chose to take tonight off because he's distraught by Astrid's death. I mean, we're all distraught, but some of us can't afford to miss work. Won't really matter. Throw me in a wig and a beard and I can play Drosselmeyer better than any of them.
Sir Becker was close to Astrid?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Perhaps he was very understanding of her distress backstage?
I wouldn't say any more than anyone else in the company. Delia seemed the most understanding. Most of us thought she was a right bat.
Even you?
I've been around tempestuous personalities in the arts my whole career. There's a diva in every show.
So that's how it all appeared to you? Diva behavior?
What else could it be? Phantom mice. Dressing room poltergeists. Some dancers may have stamina in the body, but not in the mind.
Except, we seem to have the opposite situation here. A ballerina who had the stamina to perform suddenly collapses and dies in front of a full house on opening night. Her body should not have done that, and that is what I plan to find out. Is there anything unusual you can tell me that's happened since Astrid died?
The only thing I can think of is her makeup has gone missing.
Has it?
Yes. I asked Hermione to clear out Astrid's things to make room for Susan. Hermione noted that Astrid's grease paint for the show had disappeared. She didn't think Astrid ran out. Astrid bought a new tin specifically for opening night. She tended to go through a lot of makeup.
Do you know why?
I can't say I do. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen, but I do have a ballet to stage this evening. Good afternoon. Hermione, what is the bloody state of that costume?
Informative, wouldn't you say so, Anders?
Madame de Mornay doesn't seem all that shattered by Astrid's death.
Perhaps she has something on her mind. She definitely seemed to be holding back in some places. Or perhaps for her the show really does go on.
Pretty cold, if you ask me.
Yes, I believe there's more there than meets the eye.
You didn't ask her to see Astrid's dressing room.
I didn't need to. Not anymore. Come, Anders. We have another place to visit in the meantime. In the countryside. The train will get us there tomorrow morning.
Where are we going, Basil?
To pay a visit to Sir Reginald Becker. There was an item in the Times where he recently purchased a new place in the country. A place called Thane Hall.
I must say, it's an absolute pleasure to meet the great Basil Bremerton in my humble abode.
Humble? This is a mansion.
Nonsense. It's just a little country house. Certainly not as impressive as the Aztec pyramids I explored when cutting my way through the jungles of Mexico. I had just encountered this jaguar sizing me up as his next meal when...
If you don't mind, Sir Reginald, I would like to circle back to discussing Miss Astrid Thane.
Capital idea, my good man. Astrid, damn shame about her. Such a lively lass. You never know when it's the end, do you? Of course, I've had the newspapers report my death dozens of times. Occupational hazard of mountain climbing and jungle hacking. I've always shown up to spoil their headlines later. I recall this one time when the Times reported I had plummeted to my death from the stronghold of Cusco.
Yes, all in good time. Thankfully, you're fit as a fiddle. But poor Astrid...
Too right. Capital idea, Bremerton. The Cusco story is more fit for a night with drinks and a warm fire. I say, would either of you like a drink? Could you use a Scotch, Bremerton? A brandy? What about you? I believe I've forgotten your name.
Anders. Benjamin Anders.
Yes, of course, Andrews. Well, what's the verdict? Something to wet your whistle?
It's... never mind.
Come into the drawing room, then. We can admire the trophies and talk about Astrid.
You have a much more youthful energy than I was expecting, Sir Reginald.
The result of good, clean living, outdoor pursuits, robust diet, enough to keep a man fit into his dotage.
This house, I believe, was a recent purchase for you? I would have thought you were more at home in a tent in the Himalayas.
One needs a base of operations. Always meant to get settled properly in a nice country home. You can keep all that faff with the city. This place was a steal. Old Lionel Thane met his maker several years ago. But he married so many times and had so many children, legitimate or otherwise, that the estate got carved into crumbs. At least it wasn't enough to keep the old place going. The children would have needed to cooperate to keep it up, but they were busy squabbling over who was the most legitimate heir. Also, a few gambling debts got in the way. I believe I swooped in and scored Thane Hall for a song. Kept all the staff. I planned on hiring new staff anyway.
Yes, you are famous for your abrupt changes in staff. Most men like to keep their valets, cooks, and solicitors as long as possible.
Change keeps me young. I could never stay with the same people for too long. I crave novelty, adventure. What's this about my real estate interests? I thought we were talking about Astrid.
In a way, they are related. Lionel Thane was the girl's grandfather.
Was she now? Extraordinary. And to think I never put two and two together.
Astrid never mentioned it to you?
Not at all. Though, to be clear, we didn't interact much. Drosselmeyer was in Act 1 of the Nutcracker. The Sugar Plum Fairy is in Act 2. We didn't rehearse much together. Just a nod or two backstage at the theatre.
That is something I want to ask. How did you come to finance the Nutcracker?
Oh, saw it in St. Petersburg. Jolly good show. Thought it would be just the ticket to liven up our gloomy holidays in London.
So you weren't particularly close to Astrid?
I wouldn't say so. Astrid Thane being Lionel's granddaughter, I suppose that makes more sense than what Mrs. Bascombe, my cook, told me.
What did she say?
I caught her weeping. She said her master's adopted daughter had died suddenly. I suppose that must mean Astrid.
Most intriguing. Sir Reginald, may I impose upon your cook for the time being? I want to ask her some questions. She was an old retainer of Lionel Thane, was she not?
Indeed she was. I'll fetch her. Maybe I can ask Carter to scare us up some libations as well. You know, Bremerton, I have been meaning to compliment your costume today. Of course, I saw much wilder when I encountered some tribes in Kenya last year. Brings back happy memories. I remember...
I'm afraid, Sir Reginald, this is quite a time-sensitive matter. It is the holidays, after all. Mrs. Bascombe must be busy.
I certainly keep her that way. Very well, off I popped.
Rather a character, wouldn't you say so, Basil?
He certainly had his lines down pat.
Yes? What is it? Who wants me?
Basil Bremerton, ma'am. I am a detective looking into the matter of Astrid Thane's untimely passing.
Dressed as a fruitcake?
Well, we all have our whims. Please, take a seat.
No, thank you. I have a million jobs to do before Christmas. I have a new pudding to make, and I found out we don't have enough suet. So I'd like to keep this short. Thank you kindly.
Very well. You remember Astrid, of course.
Of course I do. Sweet, rather lonely girl. Idolized her grandfather. Well, he was more like a father to her.
Ah, that's just the thing I need. Was he her grandfather?
Strictly speaking, no. She was a foundling, abandoned at the hospital Lionel patronized. He took her in. She was, legally speaking, his ward, but he was far too old to believably be her father. It was easier to call him grandfather. I raised that girl like she was my own daughter.
Then I suppose she didn't have legal claim to his estate.
Of course she did. Lionel gave it to her by name outright. He was a smart man, even if he couldn't stop marrying and having children.
Were any of her adopted, I suppose, cousins would be the simplest term, upset that she inherited?
They all more or less grew up together. I think it was accepted that Astrid would receive something from the estate. I suppose Nina was a little peeved about it looking back. Nina Shetland. She didn't say anything, though. Just a feeling.
I'm told the girls were close growing up.
Thick as thieves they were. They were always running around with their cousin Toby, causing all sorts of mischief, sneaking treats out of the kitchen, swapping the butler's balls in the dining room for giant snowballs, locking the cat in Mr. Carter's room so he would rub his fur on all the furnishings and trigger the man's allergies. Carter has an amusing sneeze. Peeved Carter to no end. Called them the Three Terrors, he did. Astrid was often the mastermind of their little games. I miss them something fierce. They all grow up too quickly.
Naturally, Lionel Thane's death must have been hard on them.
It was a dim Christmas that year, no mistaking. Lionel always had a dodgy liver, lingering jaundice. Flared up something awful at the holidays. That year, he took bad. He was just getting over a nasty attack, laid up in bed most of the season. I remember the kids, though they must have been teenagers at the time, talking in the dining room on Christmas Eve morning when they thought no one could hear them. I was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Carter heard them, too, from the butler's pantry. He could see them reflected in the butler's balls on the sideboard.
Do you think Grandfather will be out of bed by tomorrow? Who knows? He looked awfully green yesterday.
He wasn't green. He was yellow. Get your eyes checked.
Green.
Yellow.
Green.
Yellow.
I hope he feels better. It's just not Christmas without his stories.
Say, do you think this could be the end? Like, the end?
Astrid, that's not funny.
I wasn't laughing, but Grandfather is not a young man. I mean, he was going to die one day anyway.
Don't say that.
I'm just being realistic here.
Why bring it up?
Well, suppose the grandfather died. Who would get all his money?
Astrid.
I was just wondering.
Well, my dad would get a big share. I am the only grandson with the Thane name.
And what? I get nothing because my mother is your aunt?
And you're not the only Thane around here.
Yeah, but you're like the weird adopted changeling grandfather found in the woods or something. Don't punch me!
You won that one. Keep it up and you'll earn another.
Besides, Grandfather told me we all get something in his will. Even Astrid. He told me to save up for school, since Dad wants me to be a nurse. I'm sorry to disappoint them, but I want to be a ballerina.
You want to wear frilly stuff and swell?
You want a second punch to go with Astrid.
What did I say?
Nina and I plan to go to Paris together to learn ballet. Maybe you'll hear about us twirling, as you call it, through the great capitals of Europe.
Not likely. I'll be gadding about the globe like Sir Reginald Becker, swashbuckling, finding treasure, scaling tall mountains.
You make him sound like a pirate.
Which would be more Toby speed, let's be honest.
Kids, go wash up. Christmas lunch is about to be served. And to think, that night was the night of Lionel's final attack. Poor man. It just knocked him out. With the heavy snowfall that year and it being Christmas Eve and everything, getting a doctor here was nearly impossible. He was too far gone. The only doctor we could secure was one who had a bad head cold. He was all muffled up with scarves. It's a wonder Lionel lived as long as he did with that quack sneezing all around him.
Did you think there was anything unusual in his death?
Now it's funny you asking that. I did wonder at the time, but I can't be sure. I think Lionel was cheating on his diet. We had to keep him on a strict diet given his liver troubles, but the children were always naughty and bringing him treats at the holidays. They felt guilty, I guess, so I bet they brought him all sorts of goodies and rich foods he shouldn't have had. That night, I swear, I could smell garlic in his room.
Garlic?
Very faint, just about to fade away. I once caught Dr. Shetland, Lionel's son-in-law, bringing his father-in-law mince pies late at night. Lionel was addicted to mince pies.
This Dr. Shetland, did he have suspicions in his father-in-law's death?
He wasn't a medical doctor. I mean, he didn't have patients or anything. He was some kind of chemist. Went on and on to any who would listen to him about this element or that solution or this experiment. He didn't think anything was suspicious. The other doctor said it was death from his chronic liver trouble.
Did anyone else say anything unusual about it?
Tommy made rather an odd remark on Boxing Day. He said he came to visit his grandfather that night before his last attack. Said the room was glowing green when he arrived. Thought it too weird to stay. Wondered if Lionel had a secret light in his room we never found. Now, can you imagine any of that being true?
Oh, I think you'll find I'm capable of imagining all sorts of things, Mrs. Bascombe. One final thing. Does Thane Hall have a mouse problem?
Not since Mr. Cleet bought Rodine from the chemist on the high street. Haven't seen those little buggers in many years.
Thank you, Mrs. Bascombe. That completes the picture.
Basil, when you said, "That completes the picture," do you mean to tell me you know what happened to Astrid?
You can have a completed masterpiece of a crime, a painting of all the clues and suspects and more, but you will not have meaning from it. It takes the skilled detective to interpret the picture and divine the truth from it. So strictly speaking, I don't have all the answers, but I am close, so very close. Before we start our day, my friend, please take a look at this old news item I found. It was from 3 or 4 years ago, I believe.
Yuletide tragedy. Despondent actor ends it all in river. I must say, this is unpleasant reading material this close to Christmas, Basil.
I agree. It's the story of a failed actor who jumped into the river to escape his mounting debts. A shame, really. Many similar stories this time of year. The body was battered beyond all hope. Let's move on. I've invited several interested parties in this case to my flat. They are waiting in the front hall now. We shall have them in one by one and see if we can't sort the matter out. Go have a look, will you?
My word! Sir Reginald, Madame de Mornay, Mrs. Bascombe, Nina! What is going on in that brain of yours, Basil?
All in good time, my good man. Shall we have Sir Reginald in here first? He had to travel the furthest.
Morning, Basil. I must say, this is a peculiar...
If you'll permit me, Sir Reginald, but I have one thing and only one thing to ask you. You must answer truthfully. I will know if you are lying. Once you've answered, you can be on your way back home to enjoy the festivities. Now, to business. Sir Reginald, you are the consummate gentleman sportsman. I believe there are records of you representing England in the Olympic Games in the past. And I believe you were at the 1912 Olympiad. Is that not so?
What? Oh, yes indeed. 1912 Stockholm, distance running and athletics. Not a bad showing, you know it was quite tragic. Poor boy died during the games. Marathon. Something went wrong with his sunblock, or something. Of course, I always...
Yes, thank you, Sir Reginald. That is all I need. Now we'll see Mrs. Bascombe. Mrs. Bascombe, you mentioned that you had an incident with the Christmas pudding the day we visited. What happened?
Why would you want to know about that? The cat got into the cupboard where I was resting the pudding and knocked it off the shelf. The china basin smashed. When I went to make a new pudding, I found all our suet was gone. I had to get more. Then you showed up. An eventful day for me, that was.
Thank you. You are excused.
I can't imagine what all this information is telling you, Basil.
Time will tell, Anders. Perhaps now it will get more lucrative. Madame de Mornay. Or would you prefer Miss Smith?
Either, but make it snappy. We have rehearsal in 2 hours.
Very well. You are Astrid's birth mother.
Basil, what on earth?
Well now, you are a smart cookie then. I had you pegged as a clown.
Well, looks can be deceiving, and I have my ways of getting information. Astrid Thane was not Lionel's biological granddaughter, but his adopted ward, and I can guess who is her father. Sir Reginald Becker, when you both met in St. Petersburg.
Sharp. All right. Yes, it's true. I met Reggie and had a wonderful night with him. I got pregnant. By the time I found out, Reggie was in Peru. I was at the height of my career. I didn't want to give it up. I took a year off to rest from my grand tour. I had the baby and left her at the hospital. And then I continued dancing.
Did you even think about what would happen to your daughter?
Once I learned she was adopted by old Lionel Thane, I figured she was in better hands.
How did you recognize Astrid as your daughter?
Her birthmark. She had a prominent birthmark that stretched from her cheek to her toes. I always thought of it as her treacle mark. Part of her skin was darker and looked a bit like a water stain. Once I met Astrid and saw her birthmark backstage, I knew she had to be my daughter.
Does Sir Reginald know the truth?
No, I don't believe he does.
And Astrid?
I never had the heart to tell her. Why disrupt her life?
You mentioned this birthmark. No one else has. Why not?
Astrid hid it under makeup. She mixed a special grease paint to match her complexion. Then she painted herself from head to toe so she could be sure her skin was even in color and tone.
Head to toe. Madame de Mornay, could you explain what this grease paint was exactly?
Typically, it's a blend of fats and pigments.
Thank you. Did anyone else know of Astrid's birthmark?
Most of the dancers did. Tight quarters. Not a lot of dressing rooms.
So when you said you didn't know why she wore so much makeup, you weren't telling the truth.
I wanted to give her at least a shred of privacy. Astrid wasn't shy about it. She just thought it would be distracting on stage. She wanted to be perfect.
I see. Well, you have given me a lot to consider, madam. I mustn't keep you from your rehearsal. Thank you for your help.
You weren't joking when you said she was holding something back.
There may be more soon, Anders. Please, ask Nina to come in.
Mr. Bremerton, you wanted to see me?
Indeed I do, because I think you may clear up a critical part of the problem with Astrid's death.
I can?
One hopes so. Indulge me for a moment. How long have you known that Astrid murdered her grandfather?
Basil, what on earth? You can't just... look, this is monstrous. I won't stand for it. I
saw her do it.
You saw her dose the mince pies with the rat poison?
Really, Basil?
Yes, in the reflective butler's bowls on the dining room sideboard. You see, I thought about giving Grandfather a mince pie. He loved them so much, and it was Christmas Eve. I felt awful about him having to miss his favorite treat because he was sick. I snuck out to go to the kitchen, but I stopped when I saw movement in the butler's pantry. I saw Astrid. She took with her a plate of mince pies. I watched her sprinkle this white powder on the pies from a box with a mouse on it. I was going to confront her, but her face, something about her smile, it chilled me to the bone. I went back to my room.
And the next morning you learned of your grandfather's fatal attack, and wondered.
Yes, but I didn't think Astrid killed him at first. The doctor said Grandfather died from his liver trouble. Another acute attack of jaundice. What was I supposed to think?
It did not cross your mind at first that your grandfather had been poisoned by white phosphorus. Phosphorus is the key ingredient of Rodin rat poison. White phosphorus can mimic death by liver trouble nearly flawlessly. His symptoms prove it. The green glow caused by his phosphorescent breath indicating the poison used, the distinct garlicky smell of his breath sensed by Mrs. Bascombe, but missed altogether by the doctor with the head cold. Oh yes, I believe you figured it out, Miss Shetland. Slowly, in pieces, until the truth came to you. Perhaps your father helped unwittingly.
He lectured us about phosphorus poisoning one night, a few months ago, not realizing he was describing how Grandfather died. It was then I knew what I saw. I watched Astrid kill Grandfather. For the money, I bet.
Yes, her inheritance. I suppose that conversation with you and Toby was the tipping point. Afraid there may not be any provision left for her in his will, she hastened his death to try and secure her legacy. Because if she was legally adopted by Lionel Thane, she could be in line as his next of kin. She wanted her piece of the mince pie, pardon the expression, so she could travel to Paris to study ballet.
That's what happened. Grandfather left her a large legacy because she was his adopted daughter. It was more than either Toby or I got as my grandchildren. Once Astrid had the money, she vanished to Paris. I didn't have the resources to follow her, so I stayed in England.
And then, years later, you saw her at the Chamberlain Ballet, your home company. Must have been a strange reunion.
It was all right at first. Then Dad mentioned the stuff about phosphorus, and I realized Astrid was a foul, murdering... She killed Grandfather in cold blood. I couldn't let her get away with it.
So you started tormenting her at the theater.
I had no proof. I couldn't get justice, so I made my own. I sent Astrid notes, telling her that I knew she killed her grandfather. That shook her up, but I wanted her to suffer. So I found the rat poison in the theater and left it out for the mice. With a broom, I swept the dead mice into her dressing room when she found them and ran out screaming. I darted inside and swept out the dead mice. I wanted to leave her a message, and I wanted the company to think she was mad. Maybe so Madame would fire her, or Astrid would quit because of her nervous strain.
Are you sure that's all you did? Did you send her the torn scraps of her photograph? Leave a slashed costume on her rack?
No, why should I?
There, bullseye. You asked the important question. Why those efforts? It felt like a tale of two vandals. One who wanted Astrid to believe she was crazy, and one who wanted Astrid to believe she was in danger. Two people working opposite each other.
Two people? Basil, do you mean that someone else is behind this?
I mean that more than one person could have a desire to remove Astrid from the picture.
It wasn't me.
Miss Shetland.
You can't fix this on me. It's your word against mine. I'll just deny everything. You have no proof. I made sure of that. Just a mad woman's ramblings. A woman who can't testify to anything anymore.
Nina, for God's sake, you don't know what you're saying.
Astrid had no right to kill my grandfather. She didn't deserve to reap the rewards her money got her. She got exactly what she deserved.
Basil, I don't know what to say. Nina?
Is very angry and very hurt by the betrayal of her cousin, such as it is inflicted on her family. And do not forget she is in mourning. She lost someone she grew up with. That sort of layered betrayal and heartbreak is a burden to carry.
Did she kill Astrid? Is that what we're leading up to?
It's been brewing in my mind for some time, Anders. I believe I have the final pieces. Someone realized that the torment against Astrid, real or imagined, would make an excellent scapegoat for murder. And that someone engineered a not-so-sweet finish for our Sugar Plum Fairy.
Are you ready to match wits with Basil Bremerton? We'll be right back with the solution to our mystery after this break to allow you the chance to solve it for yourselves. Can you guess who done it, how, and why?
Houston, we've had a problem. Fredericks isn't responding to his radio. Please advise. Houston? Are you there? Houston?
And now, we present to you the solution of the latest adventure of Basil Bremerton.
Basil, are you serious? You know who killed Astrid Thane?
I know who it must be. The one person swanning about under an assumed name.
Madame de Mornay. I knew it. All that nonsense about her Frenchified stage name.
You misunderstand me, Anders. I mean the one person who is not who they claim to be.
What do you mean? There was an imposter?
Precisely, Anders. He had the look, the walk, the voice, the character down fairly pat. But Sir Reginald Becker was not the real Sir Reginald Becker.
What?
Sir Reginald often was reported dead during his wild and dangerous travels. I am suggesting that one of those reports of his death in Peru ended up being true, but a clever con artist learned his part and assumed the role and the wealth of the great explorer.
Who? And why would he do that?
A fresh start. In a previous life, he was a failed actor, unable to land any big roles. When he reads about Sir Reginald's this time true death, a bold bluff comes to his mind. He'd take on the persona, gain access to all that money. Sir Reginald was famously known for firing his staff, moving constantly, never staying still. He often communicated by telegram. He'd send a telegram claiming to be the famous explorer. After all, Sir Reginald had no family, no children. The actor played a new part to identify an unknown drowning victim as himself, and then went off to assume his new persona. A clean slate, at last. Wealth, position, comfortable living. He bought a new country estate, Thane Hall, away from Sir Reginald's usual haunts, to live out his days in luxury and peace.
Surely. He couldn't hope it would last forever.
It was a sheer, bold, audacious bluff, and by a miracle it came off. Whether he expected it to work is beside the issue. He was desperate, and desperate men take insane chances.
So risky.
Some risk earns rewards. But it was not to be a long celebration, because Sir Reginald met a very dangerous personality. Someone who could destroy his threadbare scheme. The woman who had an affair and a child by the real Sir Reginald many years ago, Angèle de Mornay.
Then she would know.
Simplicity itself, my good man. Angèle de Mornay would know at once that this was not the father of her child. Yet, instead of calling his bluff or contacting the authorities, she makes a play that aligns with her own ambitions. She blackmails him.
Blackmail?
How else do you explain a gentleman sportsman and macho explorer suddenly becoming invested in the arts? It's a unique blackmail. Madame de Mornay doesn't want cash. She wants the false Sir Reginald to finance her ballets, to grow her company into the most exclusive one in England. She wants ambitious productions, expensive ones, with Sir Reginald footing the bill. As leverage against him, she holds Astrid's parentage.
Did Astrid know?
I don't believe she ever made the connection, but Astrid was Madame de Mornay's evidence against Sir Reginald, so the two come to an unlikely agreement. Sir Reginald provides the financing for her ballets if he's permitted to scratch his performing itch by appearing on stage. He was a failed actor, remember? He wanted to hear the roar of the crowd. In return, Madame de Mornay keeps quiet, but she holds Astrid over Sir Reginald's head like the sword of Damocles.
But what happened? It sounds like they came to an agreement.
Madame de Mornay got greedy. She had ambitions, her production grew more expensive. This is 1934. The world is in a depression. Sir Reginald is feeling the economic pinch, and his partner in crime is making too many demands on him. He wants to tip the scale in his favor.
How?
Well, there aren't many ways to escape blackmail. You could pay it, as he was doing. He could silence Madame de Mornay, which would be a risky admission of guilt. We would look into motives for her death. Who else had a financial arrangement and prior relationship with her? Too risky. But what he could do is remove the evidence against him.
Kill his own daughter? That's monstrous.
Not his daughter, Anders. Remember, he is not the real Sir Reginald. Astrid is a stranger to him, a bargaining chip used by Madame de Mornay. What proof does she have that he is not Sir Reginald? Only her daughter with a secret birthmark. Perhaps a birthmark she shared with her long-lost father, which the fake would not have. Anyway, without Astrid, Madame de Mornay would have no physical proof against him. She could no longer say, "This is my child with Sir Reginald, and she looks nothing like the man who claims to be her father." Sir Reginald wanted leverage. He wanted to even the scales. Perhaps he could convince Madame de Mornay to open up the Chamberlain Ballet into a multifaceted company with theatre, dance, and opera. Perhaps with himself as actor-manager. And killing Astrid would send a message that he meant business. Perhaps mutually assured destruction. He was a dangerous, desperate man who had come too far in his own fraud to turn back now.
Insanity. Pure insanity.
Perhaps it was. I pray we never reach the level of desperation he had. In any case, he had the motive, means, and opportunity to commit this crime.
How? What did he do? How did he do it?
He realized whoever was responsible for the mice in Astrid's dressing room would be a good scapegoat for murder. He sent the torn-up photograph himself, later replacing the pieces with a whole photograph to sustain the fiction that Astrid was going mad or having visions. He slashed Susan's Sugar Plum costume from when she was Astrid's understudy and swapped it with Astrid's on the rack. Both costumes looked alike, but were made for different ballerinas. He clumsily repaired Susan's costume and returned it to the costume shop. A laundress got blamed for the damages.
Why do that?
Because it created the narrative that the vandal wanted to harm Astrid instead of scare her. A scapegoat for murder doesn't work unless they are shown to have violence in their hearts.
But how did he do it? How did he strike her down? Like magic? Oh, did he discover some rare South American tree frog poison? that could work without leaving...
Calm yourself, Anders. Your imagination is running a marathon right now. Speaking of which, that's how Sir Reginald learned to do it.
A marathon?
Yes, the fatal marathon at the 1912 Olympic Games in Stockholm, Sweden. In his research into Sir Reginald to ensure he could learn the part, he learned about the Olympics he competed in, and the death of the Portuguese marathon runner due to heat exhaustion and electrolyte imbalance. When I questioned him about it, he had to say something. It was a major event, and the real Sir Reginald would have nothing to hide. He had no choice. I imagine he's stewing right now.
But how did the runner die?
One word. Suet.
You're losing me, Basil.
That was the fatal sunblock. The runner used suet, a kind of animal fat, as his sunblock, and to improve lubrication in hopes of running faster. But what he didn't realize is that the suet sealed his skin and prevented it from sweating. This led to the fatal electrolyte imbalance. However, he didn't collapse until he had completed 3/4 of the race. It was the suet sealing his skin and the intense exertion which killed him. And that's where Sir Reginald got his brilliant plan.
How did he do it to Astrid?
Grease paint. Remember, Madame de Mornay described it as fat mixed with pigment. Astrid had a prominent birthmark she covered with grease paint. Sir Reginald replaced her grease paint with a mixture of suet and pigment scented with the strong odor of violets to disguise the smell somewhat. Astrid used this fatal grease paint all over her body. Head to toe, Dr. Cartwright said. The suet sealed her skin. Then she went off to warm up for the ballet, stretching and staying physical to keep her muscles warm for the rigor of the ballet. Then she danced and danced and danced and danced until she could dance no more.
My word. You really think that happened?
I'm almost positive. Remember how Nina's thoughts ran to Christmas dinner and mince pies and pudding while waiting in Astrid's dressing room? She was unconsciously smelling the lingering scent of suet in the air. Suet is a key ingredient in puddings and mincemeat, and scent is powerful for unlocking memories. And once Mrs. Bascombe revealed all the suet had disappeared from her larder, something she never would have admitted if she were the murderer, then I knew who killed Astrid and how they did it.
Then Nina had nothing to do with it?
You can rest assured that Miss Shetland merely wanted a form of justice for her grandfather, perhaps to ease any lingering guilt she has for not raising the alarm sooner.
I must say, I'm fairly relieved about that. Not about Astrid, I mean. I know she was a murderer and all that, but she didn't deserve to die in that way, and be exploited by her mother and lose her father. But still, I am happy. Well, not exactly happy, but what I mean is about Nina.
I understand, Anders. Now, I believe I'll give Inspector Harlow a call. One thing I can't deduce is whether this news will make his holidays or ruin it. Some things are beyond even my powers of deduction.
Oh, come now, Basil. Don't play modest.
My friend, I am nothing if not humble. Why don't we invite Miss Shetland over here for Christmas lunch this year? Explain to her the whole thing, show her there are no hard feelings, no serious repercussions. Would you like that, Anders?
Oh, yes. I do suppose that would be nice.
I must say, Anders, that your pink face doesn't quite go with your green tie, my friend. Thank you, distinguished guests, for listening to our evening program, Visions of Sugarplums, the latest adventure of Basil Bremerton. Were you able to successfully match wits with me and identify the culprit before I did? Who knows how well you do next time? Be sure to tune in next week for another thrilling adventure of Basil.
I am testing Mr. Microphone. He is sitting on the table and I'm talking into him. Wow.